start. Got a surprise for you guys. Right. And I've also got it in black. In black? So, with this can
That's a one.
We landed in Copenhagen and Matt had the idea to meet up at Tarnby Nye skate park as it's close to the airport.
The rain has hit, so we're going to leave here, but Scott has had a brilliant idea. Instead of getting public transport to the hotel, in it.
We're going to do a skate spot crawl and just skate different spots on the way back to the hotel.
Hopefully we can find some shelters from the rain. If not, we'll hit them hopefully on the way back to the airport on the final day.
Scott said there was a transition-based skate park nearby, so we headed over to have a look at it, and it was just an absolute monster. It was just huge. But we figured we'd have a little roll around, maybe shoot a few short videos, then get the hell out of there. But Matt obviously had a lot of confidence in his travel insurance and decided to get all Evel Knievel on us.
made it to the hotel after the skate crawl. Just gonna quick change around and pop out to some other skate spots on a tennis court. Not skateable, but I just wanted to show you a tennis court. So yeah, we're gonna quick change, grab a bite to eat. We're gonna head on back out and maybe do a bit more filming. We're not 100% sure. We're gonna see how we go, and if we don't do any more filming, I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Copenhagen. So we headed off to Israels Plads, did a bit of flat ground there, we scoped out a few other places. Was hoping to go to the Pyramid basketball courts, but it was all fenced off and it's closed for some repairs, so we didn't get there. But yeah, more skating to happen in the morning, as long as my knee holds up, because it's rather swollen and sore right now, and I have no idea what I've done. So it could be down to these two fine gentlemen to get the skating in if this doesn't heal, but I'm going to at least try. Not a battle I needed before breakfast. Nor did my shoes. We're doing some tag team skateboarding. I'm done with the kickflip. I'm tagging in Kieran. What a selfless pig this guy is. Scott and Kieran battling their 180s and landing something new. It just motivated me to want to try and get something new myself. So I started work on trying to get a full cab over the hip, or a 270 as some may call it. These were the closest I got. Were I sort of rolled back away in fakie, but I wasn't getting a full rotation by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe if I'd had more time I would have been able to get this trick, but there were just so many other cool places that we wanted to go and skate that I just called it and we just moved on. Just a quick word from our sponsor, Netto, the unofficial sponsor of the Copenhagen skate trip.
When we turned up at the wave, me and Matt were amazed at how big it was, but Kieran wasn't fazed at all, he just got straight to work.
Day 3, headed back to Norringbro Skate Park. Scott and Kieran didn't really skate it the day before, and there was still some bits I wanted to try out there as well. So that was the first port of call for Day 3. That'll do.
Thank God for that.
Kieran, the king of the ring. The undisputed skateboard champion of the world. Bit emotional, guys. What a ride.
going back in.
And that is what a weekend of skating gets you when you're over 30.